If you want to become a runner, you have to want to do it. It's literally that simple. You have to want to put in those hours. You have to be prepared that it's going to be seriously hard work. Yeah, it is hard work. It's mostly the hours that are really, really hard work, and the fact that it's non-stop, and the fact that you're on your feet, and the fact that you have to think on your feet and go. It's also like going against the elements. Half the time you're filming outside, you don't particularly know what to expect. A lot of it's dealing with the public, so it's just a lot of thinking on your feet and being organised and actually wanting to do it.
Write something that actually has a beginning, a middle and an end. It doesn't have to be a long piece, but you should write it really in a format which makes some kind of commercial sense. In other words, if you want to write for television, write it in a half-hour format if it's for a sitcom, or write it in an hour format if it's for an hour-long drama. But kind of pay attention to what you've seen and try and think how those shows are put together, because it's very important that you present something to the industry that they actually recognise as a form that they know and that they understand. I feel incredibly optimistic about young writers. There's tremendous talent out there, and people are really kind of aware of films and television now. People of 10, 11, 12, even 15 now have seen so many more films and television shows than I had at that age. And it's great because people absorb ideas. They're really alert, and they're just got so many great ideas. But the key thing is, if you want to be a writer, you've got to get them down on the computer or on the page so that people can read them. And I really truly believe that if you're good, if you have good ideas, and if you're determined and you're willing to work incredibly hard, you have a real shot as a writer. Even from early on, I kind of put it together that somebody had written it, that there was somebody's name at the beginning that said writer, and I thought that looked like a pretty cool job. And it turns out it is.
I think to be a casting director, you need to have a really good memory. You need to have a good memory for names and faces and where you've seen actors before and things. I think you've got to have a reasonably good imagination, because the way I cast is if I read a script and I think about an actor whose work I know, then I kind of replay the scene for myself with that actor in the scene and see if it works or not. I think you have to be quite tactful and quite diplomatic. And quite patient quite often, I think.
My advice to somebody who wants to become a composer would be to learn their instruments well, and maybe to learn about music theory, and maybe not spend too much time with computer programs and all that, because they've become very easy, and a lot of young people think, oh, I have to learn Pro Tools, I have to learn Logic, and this, that's the pieces of software that one needs, but in fact one learns those within a day or two, so they're quite so. But the difficult thing is to write the music and to write a good tune. So even doing some songwriting as well is a good thing to do.
There are many different ways you can become a director. The journey I took was by initially going to film school, studying film, and when I left film school, I started as a runner on the floor, making teas and coffees and running around just doing anything I could to make everybody pleased. I then worked up and I started as third assistant director, which is looking after the actors. I then became a second assistant director, I then became the first assistant director, and finally I went on to direct myself. So basically I started off as a runner and worked my way up. I did an apprenticeship through the floor up to the point where I became a director myself. It's tough to get into the industry because a lot of people want to do it. So I would say the best tips are: one, love it. It's got to be something you love and care about. Be passionate. When you start off, always be good, always be kind, always be prepared to work hard, always be prepared to be there the earliest, stay the longest. Make people really feel that you're somebody who wants to be in this industry.